Tori Roloff says son Jackson told her he was too short to play soccer as he realizes he's not catching up. Hello viewers, I am Alana. Welcome back to my channel. USA Daily History for Roloff family latest news update. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon. Tori shares her 3 kids with husband Zach Roloff. Tori and Zach Roloff's son Jackson has started to notice some of his differences from other kids, and this week's episode of the couple talks about how their 6-year-old son has taken a liking to soccer, though he's starting to question why he plays differently than his teammates. Jackson's super focused as a soccer player. He's very coachable, pays attention, runs hard. He's just not the best player, Zach says. There's some of it is his dwarfism. But he's pretty aware of his skill set. He's picked up pretty quick. He can't outrun people, so he controls the ball really well, adds the proud dad. He continues, saying that his son is becoming more and more aware of his condition. Jackson's getting to the age where the size differences are becoming more obvious and he's not catching up, Zach says. Some of the opposing kids point out that he's different and he's starting to hear that for the first time. Tori notes that when this happened for the first time, Jackson blamed it on himself. The first game it happened to Jackson stopped in the middle of the game and told me on the sideline like, "Hey, they told me I'm too short to play soccer," the mom of 3 recalls. All 3 of our kids, I hope, will find friends and find families who can see them for who they are, says Zach. This past April, Tori shared a similar story when her son Jackson hit the field for his first soccer game and scored a goal for his team. Jackson, who had surgery in 2021 to help correct the bowing in his legs, was as fast as his fellow teammates on the field. But as Roloff wrote, I feel like Jackson and others are starting to notice that something is different about him, adding that they asked why he was so small. Pointing out that the other team wasn't bullying her son, Roloff says they were just curious. It stuck with him enough to tell me on the sideline though. I told him, "That's how God made you, now show them how fast you are," she added. I want him to know he's different. But maybe not in the way he thinks he is. Tori later added, "I pray you see your differences and use them to change the world. You are different, kid. Different than any kid I've ever met. You are one of a kind, and I am so stinking proud to be your mom." Tori and Zach Roloff's son Jackson is starting to notice his dwarfism. Little people, big world star Tori Roloff had a proud mom moment when she and Zach Roloff's son, Jackson, scored a goal during his first soccer game. Tori shared a story and some photos from Jackson's game and acknowledged that although he scored a goal for his team, it was also an eye-opening moment for the 5-year-old. Tori uploaded some photos on Instagram depicting Jackson in his soccer uniform on the field and a video of Jackson scoring a goal, and the caption, Tori wrote about the opposing team asking why Jackson was so small. Tori noted that she didn't feel the questions were of a malicious nature, but rather out of curiosity. The comments from his opposing teammates were enough to prompt Jackson to approach his mom on the sidelines and tell her about it. I told him, "That's how God made you, now show them how fast you are." He then proceeded to score a goal, and I can't tell you how stoked we were, Tori wrote in the accompanying caption. Tori acknowledged that it's been hard to cope with Jackson and others noticing that he's different. However, she clarified that she wants him to know that he is not like everyone else. I pray you see your differences and use them to change the world. You are different, kid, Tori continued, dedicating her caption to Jackson. Different than any kid I've ever met. You are one of a kind, and I am so stinking proud to be your mom. Nearly 97,000 people liked Tori's post, and thousands more went to the comments to gush over her amazing job as a mother. One of those comments came from Tori's mother-in-law, Amy Roloff. "You're an amazing mama," to him, Tori. "I know how you feel. I felt very similar things, and I'm a little person, mom. You've got this. He's got this. With you and Zach as his parents," Amy wrote. Amy added that Jackson will certainly face challenges in his life, but with the support of his parents, he'll prevail. Tori's sister-in-law, Isabel Roloff, who is married to Zach's brother Jacob, wrote, "A special kid indeed. Go Jackson, go." Another one of Tori's IG followers penned that God definitely chose the perfect mom for Jackson. Last season on LPBW, Zach opened up about the struggles Jackson will face once he realizes that he's short-statured compared to his average-sized peers. Zach, who is also a little person, noted that Jackson is equipped with plenty of self-confidence, however, and is hopeful that his son never loses it. Jackson, like his siblings Lila and Josiah, dad Zach, and grandma Amy, was born with a type of dwarfism known as achondroplasia. It's the most common type of dwarfism, occurring in approximately 1 in 25,000 live births. Achondroplasia results in being born with an average-sized trunk but short limbs. Jackson has already faced some health issues related to his dwarfism, including leg surgery to improve the bowing. Zach has also undergone multiple surgeries, his most recent being to revise his shunt. Zach's dad, Matt Roloff, was born with a different type of dwarfism known as dystrophic dysplasia. Matt has also undergone multiple surgeries, spent much of his childhood in hospitals, and walks with crutches as he struggles with mobility. The Roloffs have continued to show TLC audiences that they can accomplish many of their goals and live successful and happy lives despite their physical limitations. LPBW's Zach Roloff says his family is always going to stand out, feels like we're being watched. Zach Roloff is sharing why it isn't always easy to be out in public with his family. During the season finale of which aired on Tuesday, April 23rd, the father of three opened up about the differences in his family and how they handle feeling like they're being watched in public. Our family's going to stand out, our whole life. You know, Tori being my wife and I'm her husband, me being short, her being tall, and our kids being short, Zach says in a confessional. Our family's going to always probably stand out, but it's something you just kind of get used to. Sometimes it's annoying. We get sensitive sometimes. We make sure our kids are well behaved because we do feel like we're being watched. It's hard sometimes, his wife Tori chimes in. That's also not their burden. We can't burden our kids while other people's burdens or expectations or judgments. Zach and Tori, who share sons Josiah Luke, 23 months, and Jackson Kyle, 6, as well as daughter Lila Ray, 4, discussed Zach's. While roasting marshmallows around the fire pit, Zach recounted to Tori that Jackson recently asked him why his friend couldn't play AAA baseball. Zach explained to Jackson that his friend couldn't play because he wasn't a dwarf. I'm a dwarf. What does that mean? Zach recalled Jackson asking him, noting that he had to address the topic with his son earlier than expected. He was kinda just confused. He was like, why aren't other people dwarfs? And I said, that's because of how God made you and this and that, Zach said. He kinda laughed. He almost thought I was name-calling him. Later, in a confessional, Zach reflected on discussing dwarfism with Jackson, said it's not a conversation I was prepared to have, but families have dwarfism. Those moments come up that you then have to talk about. You know it's coming, you know the questions are gonna come and the curiosity about themselves, but I don't have it planned out in my head. It's just kind of however my kids bring it up. I don't think it's going to be a conversation. I think it's going to be more like moments. The dad of three continued. Little people, big world. Tori Roloff's ego's out of control. Star Tori Roloff's ego might be out of control since deciding to leave their family reality show. She's the wife of Zach Roloff, the eldest son of the Roloff family, and wed roughly 5 years later, in 2015. Since becoming Zach's wife, Tori has had a much greater presence in Little People, Big World. She first appeared in season 10 when they started dating and has been on the show since. They celebrated their wedding on the show and welcomed 3 children together. Tori has been one of Zach's biggest support systems in his feud with his father. When Matt decided to list the farms, this devastated Zach as he always thought he would take them over. Their feud after season 25, citing that it was time they moved on from the reality TV show and focused on their children. Their departure is one sign that after season 25, although there is no confirmation about since she started the reality series. The mother of 3 looks great and enjoys posting updates on her social media. Tori Roloff posted an Instagram reel joking about having to work out on her page with over 2 million followers. Going to do a stupid workout, she wrote in text over the post. Since losing weight, she enjoys posting pictures and videos that highlight her changes for everyone to see. It's clear Tori doesn't need Little People, Big World to show off her transformation. Tori is tired of filming Little People, Big World. On their joint podcast, the couple explained that the process of their kids Jackson, Lila, and Josiah have all been a major part of Little People, Big World in recent seasons. Zach and Tori have been open in discussing how all 3 of their children have been diagnosed with dwarfism. After Jackson said he wasn't comfortable filming his doctor's appointments anymore, they reconsidered being on Little People, Big World. However, since announcing their departure after 25 seasons, Zach might think it's time for him to be done with the show. He also does not enjoy interacting with his father, which is a major storyline in Little People, Big World. For continuing their podcast in the wake of their exit from the reality show. They should be grateful for the platform that Little People, Big World has awarded them to be able to start their podcast. Throughout their time on Little People, Big World, Zach and Tori have navigated their issues as a couple. They have been together for nearly 15 years and have welcomed 3 children together. Every couple has disagreements and Little People, Big World, Tori said she felt overwhelmed having to deal with the demands of the children and all the inside chores, while Zach primarily handles all the outside activities. She felt like her husband wasn't giving her enough credit and wanted him to step up a bit more. Tori needed more help from Zach, but it's clear that he helped her out a lot. It's normal for couples to have disagreements. As a mother, she needed help with more than just the outside chores that needed to be completed at their home in Washington state. With Zach, it seems like the former reality star is planning to stay in the spotlight. Though she announced she was done with the show, Tori started her podcast alongside Zach. The podcast generates another source of income for their family, but it also allows them to stay in the reality TV zeitgeist. If they wanted to get out of the spotlight by leaving Little People, Big World, they could have done so without starting their podcast. Tori has accumulated a massive following since starring on the show. With over 2 million followers on Instagram, she posts a lot of content for her fanbase. Tori likes to utilize trending sounds on her Instagram Reels. Notably, some of the graphics for their podcast seem extra. Tori Zach and the Raising Heights podcast pages placed text that read, "Zach almost died" as the episode's thumbnail on Instagram. In the episode, they addressed when in 2023. Zach and Tori have every right to talk about the traumatic experience they went through. However, it was in poor taste to make the thumbnail so graphic. The thumbnail likely generated a lot of clicks and listens because of its absurdity. Tori may be tapping into her reality TV fame to generate a career in influencing for herself. She may be more keen on Tori might think being an influencer is easier than being a reality TV star. Tori's ego may have inflated since being on. The former reality TV star has garnered a large fanbase since appearing on the TLC show alongside her husband. She's vowed to move on from the show but continues to stay in the spotlight with her podcast and social media presence. Inside Little People stars Zach, Tori Roloff's new $1 million Washington house. Little People, Big World stars Zach and Tori Roloff made a surprise announcement Thursday night when they revealed to fans they were leaving Oregon for Washington state. "We said goodbye to our sweet, cozy, unique, and very green house in Portland yesterday," Tori wrote in, "and we have had so many beautiful memories in that house, including bringing our sweet bean home from the hospital, countless gatherings, and just a whole lot of love. We will miss Portland, but we're so excited for our new adventure in Washington." LPBW's Tori and Zach Roloff admit they can't remember son Josiah's first word. "I feel bad for number 3. Tori and Zach Roloff are sharing a relatable parenting moment, and this week's episode of the couple celebrate their son Josiah's first birthday and share that he's reached some major milestones. While he has yet to start walking, Tori and Zach look back on hearing his first word, though they admit they can't quite remember what it was. Josiah's hitting all his milestones. "He's growing." Zach begins in a confessional. "He's going to walk any day now," adds Tori. The scene cuts to the couple's backyard, where they are playing with their 3 kids: Josiah, Lila, 4, and Jackson, 6. "Did we have a CC first word moment?" Zach asks his wife. "Third kid, we don't even know what they said first," Tori admits. "You don't know what they said first, you don't know when, to who, about what." In a confessional, Tori admits that she feels bad for her 3rd kid. "I could tell you the hour that Jackson said something, the day he walked," she says. "Jackson stuff happened 6 years ago, Josiah stuff just happened and we can't remember it," Zach adds. During last week's episode, Tori opened up about how her son but has been questioning why he has some differences from the other players. "Jackson's super focused as a soccer player. He's very coachable, pays attention, runs hard. He's just not the best player," Zach said. "There's some of it is his dwarfism. But he's pretty aware of his skill set, he's picked up pretty quick. He can't outrun people, so he controls the ball really well," added the proud dad. Zach continued, noting that his son is becoming more aware of his condition. "Jackson's getting to the age where the size differences are becoming more obvious and he's not catching up," Zach said. Some of the opposing kids point out that he's different and he's starting to hear that for the first time. Tori chimed in, adding that the first time this happened, Jackson blamed it on himself. "The first game it happened at. Jackson stopped in the middle of the game and told me on the sideline like, 'Hey, they told me I'm too short to play soccer,' the mom of 3 recalled. 'All 3 of our kids, I hope, will find friends and find families who can see them for who they are,' said Zach." Little People Big World's Zach Roloff says 22-month-old son Josiah is doing great as he learns to walk. Zach Roloff's son is getting ready to take his first steps. During Tuesday's episode of Little People, Big World, the dad of 3, 33, reveals that his younger son Josiah, 22 months, is starting to take his first steps. While his wife Tori is away on a girls' trip, Zach helps Josiah work on putting one foot in front of the other. "Guys want to practice some walking?" Zach asks as he lifts Josiah from the ground. Hey, Josiah places his hands on a toy walker while Zach monitors him. Okay, we're going to walk all the way to the living room, Zach says as Josiah places one foot in front of the other. Zach shares his 3 kids, Jackson, 6, Lila, 4, and Josiah with Tori. The kids and I have gotten into a nice little routine throughout the day, the proud father says in a confessional. After lunch, the 3 of us will hang out for a while and then it'll be time for us to pick Jackson up from school. The scene switches back to the family's house, where Josiah keeps walking, babbling and giggling as he goes, he's doing great walking. He can't catch himself if he falls. Once we're up though, he's doing pretty good with walking. Zach can be heard saying, "Yay CSI." Sister Lila says as she watches her brother take a few steps, clapping her hands. "Good job CC, let's take a little break," Zach says as he lifts his son gently to the floor, moving the toy walker. In May, the Roloffs with a Josiah's first rodeo-themed celebration. In photos Tori shared on Instagram, Josiah posed in his high chair, adorned in a cowboy-themed garland, smiling under a sign that said, "Josiah's first rodeo," and a balloon arch of brown, tan, and cowprint balloons. "I still can't believe my last baby is one. I just love him so much and want to keep celebrating the day," she captioned the set of shots. Little people, big world. Here's how the show handled Tori and Zach Roloff's exit. Zach and Tori Roloff. Little people, big world. The 33-year-old son of Amy Roloff and Matt Roloff, who has appeared on 25 seasons of the TLC show dating back to its 2006 premiere, appeared alongside his wife in their final episode during Tuesday's season finale. Zach and Tori are the show, with Jeremy, 33, Molly, 30, and Jacob, 27, and their significant others all making similar choices throughout the years. Zach and Tori's decision to leave comes amid ongoing tension in the Roloff family surrounding Matt's and its sale. Amy admitted in Tuesday's season finale, "I don't really know what type of relationship or any of that stuff that the kids now have with their father, especially with all the farm stuff now going on, especially with Jeremy and Zach. And that's something for them to work on." Matt remains hopeful for reconciliation, however, telling "I'm always hopeful that Zach and Tori will bring the kids around, and if not, the kids will be coming around later in life." Chandler responded, "I think we've just come to terms that they don't want a relationship and we have to accept that." She added, "Just because it's now ended sad, doesn't mean that that didn't exist. Those memories I'm holding on to. I don't know the future. It doesn't look bright at this moment in time, but I'm not gonna give up hope. Just because we missed a couple years, there's always relationships to be rebuilt." In his final episode of Little People, Big World, Zach reflected on his childhood while taking children Jackson, 6, Lila, 4, and Josiah, 1, blackberry picking. "Growing up on the farm, I spent a lot of time outdoors and I definitely want that same experience for our kids," he said. "The farm was part of my life, and it's not going to be part of our kids' lives the same way it was mine. No one's holding grudges. No one's intentionally not going to the farm. There's just no interest. The kids don't ask." As for his Zach explained that ships all sailed. "There's not much of a relationship. It's just doing our own thing. Time might even it out, but everything will be healed. It'll just be different." Tori agreed, "I think that we've created a life here that I don't think could have been created anywhere else," she said. "I think we've found an independency and we've found just our own space. This is all ours and it has nothing to do with anyone else." Tori and Zach first confirmed their exit from the TLC show on their Raising Heights podcast in February, with Zach saying they made it pretty clear they wouldn't be returning amid filming for their final season. "This last cycle was rough between the family, the farm deal, and we're done with that. We've moved on," he said, noting, "I think the chapter has closed regardless of us being asked back or not. We've made it pretty clear we're done with that chapter for multiple reasons, the reasons we will get into here." Little People, Big World's Zach Roloff reacts to rumors he's keeping kids away from Matt. Zach Roloff put to rest a major rumor that he and his wife Tori Roloff are preventing his father and mother Amy Roloff from being able to see their grandkids, which recently aired its season finale after the Roloff family's reality show was off the air for over a year, felt like a farewell. Back in February, once the most recent season finished filming. There's speculation. Even though Zach and Tori have left Little People, Big World, they are still freely giving their thoughts on their reality TV fame via their podcast. In the most recent episode of the podcast, Zach addressed rumors that he and Tori made a decision to separate their kids from Matt and Amy. "There's none of that going on," he bluntly said. "They're merely trying to raise their kids in the best way they can. He might have a toxic relationship with Matt, but..." Even though Zach claims he's not meddling in his father's relationship with his grandchildren, which the latter acknowledged on his podcast, saying, "It's not great. It's not existent, I guess. The filming ended, you kind give yourself some space. Once Little People, Big World Season 25 started airing several months later,